Good morning. Welcome to your Friday morning, early morning intuitive guidance. I'm Dr. Bonnie Nussbaum, here with some words of wisdom to get us thinking about some things in a different way and expanding our awareness of ourselves and the world around us. So let's take a couple of nice deep breaths in through the nose, out through the mouth. Letting your shoulders drop. Good morning, Lucy. Welcome, welcome. You're the first one on today. In through the nose, out through the mouth. Just breathing and relaxing, letting your shoulders drop. Taking time to bring your present awareness right back into here and now. Good morning, Cindy. Glad you are here. Welcome. A tickle in my nose. We're having all the allergens starting to do their thing, and then they're going to be frozen to death in short order. Good morning, Mel. I think, is it Saturday or Sunday? One of these days, we're supposed to have rain, and then the next day is supposed to be snow, and I don't think it's supposed to get up over 30 on that particular day. So yesterday we had 84, and that day we're going to have 30-something. Welcome to Wisconsin in spring. So our card deck for today is the Wild Harmonic Oracle deck by Gabriel J. Merrihew, and these are some pretty esoteric cards. Ooh, I was just noticing the edge of the card. Love that. Isn't that fun? Little swirl right into infinity. But as I read the card, I could see the relevance of making it more applicable to day-to-day living. So our card, a very pretty image on the card. Reclining figure, feminine, with the sun draped over her as a blanket and the crescent moon coming up. Good morning, Carolyn. Welcome, welcome. This is Water of Celestial, and it's called Dreaming Layers. Dreaming Layers. So that's kind of the realm we're dealing in today. So, Water of Celestial, Dreaming Layers. As the flowing feeling of life ascends into the celestial realms, it reveals the many layers of interpenetration, the endless celestial realms within. Isn't that an interesting way to think about it? We always think of celestial as out there in the cosmos, but the endless celestial layers within. The meditation, altered states of awareness, guidance, and understanding. This card is a recognition that we exist on many layers of experience, and that by tuning into them, seeking to find a means of helping the layers relate, we come to find a deeper wholeness and healing. And if you think about that, we can learn to shift our state of being almost instantaneously by shifting between these layers of experience. So if I look at a certain situation that's unfolding and I frame it. Good morning, Gwen. Good morning to the couple of you that snuck past me. If I focus my attention on a particular way of perceiving an experience I'm having, let's say my framework is this is boring, it's going to become rather two-dimensional, rather colorless, flat, blah, just if I change my lens to this is interesting, it becomes three-dimensional and colorful and whatever. If I shift my lens to this is one of these celestial layers within, it becomes five-dimensional and has all sorts of movement and pattern and whatever that I didn't allow myself to see when I had the this is boring lenses on. So we can greatly influence our experience on a daily basis, within a day, based on what lenses do we choose to look at it in. So I'm suggesting that we look at it through the lenses of that field of infinite possibilities. What does this particular experience have to offer me on many levels? On many levels, not just that 3D or 2D flat, boring, whatever reference, okay? Closing my eyes opens my vision to a far-reaching imaginal realm of endless possibility. Endless possibility. There we go. 13 seconds to shift our energy and 68 seconds to receive universal energy. And my guess is we can mess with those timelines too, simply by assuming it's so. If we say to ourselves, I can instantaneously shift my perspective, so it is. So it is. What are you willing to free yourself to believe? We create all kinds of unwitting limitations for ourselves. Good morning, Linda. Glad you're here. By assuming things, even things we've been told. So there's that old story about the woman who's making ham for a holiday, and she cuts the end off the ham and puts it in the pan, and her husband says, why do you cut the ends off the ham? She goes, I don't know, my mother always did. So she calls her mother and says, Mom, why do you cut the ends off the ham? I don't know, Grandma always did. So she calls Grandma. Grandma says, the ham was too big to fit in the pan. Yep. We just adopt things. We don't challenge them. We don't look at, why is it this way? Good morning, Sue. Glad you are here. We just soak up the status quo and run with it. And I get it. On one level, it makes life easier to do that. It makes life easier for us to be habitual creatures. But we lose something in the translation. When we slip into habit, we lose all of the verve of life. So we have to find that balance between enough habitual that we can function, morning Judy, but not so much that we lose all the verve, okay? So that's part of this Dreaming Layers card. When we can dream it, as Mary Kay Ash would say, when you can dream it, you can conceive it. So we have to imagine, and what else could happen? And what else could happen? And what else could happen? The bigger we dream, the more likely it is to open those doors. Yes, thinking outside the box, and notice that that box is self-generated. We've created that box. And yes, we may have been bequeathed the box by family lore or training or whatever, but as an adult, we decide whether or not we maintain that box. And being willing to look at these other layers, dwell in these other layers, mess around with these other layers is what begins to collapse the box. Okay? So let's see. Learning to explore and relate to these many other states of being informs my life in ways that it may at first seem easy to dismiss, yet contain irrefutable keys to unlocking my potential. Why do we value one perspective more than another? It's not that that perspective really has more value. It's that we've trained ourselves up, or we've been trained up, to view that perspective as reality. All the other perspectives are reality also. We just haven't been trained up to conceive of them that way. So if you don't like your reality right now, change your perspective. Change your perspective. So here's the inquiry. Here's the question to ask ourselves that will help us move beyond that box, self-imposed box, out into that field of infinite possibilities. And does that field feel uncomfortable to us? Yes, oftentimes, because it's calling for us to grow beyond the comfort zone, to grow beyond those self-imposed limitations. Well, I can't do that. Like I can't travel alone, or I can't get this new job, or I can't leave my marriage, or I can't whatever. I can't. Whatever limitation you're arguing for, you get to keep it. You get to keep it. Are you sure you want to argue for that limitation? So here's the question, the inquiry. What are my dreams, visions, fantasies helping me to see about my life right now? What are my dreams, visions, fantasies helping me to see about my life right now? And I'd expand on that a little bit further. And about the life really I'm meant to be living. And what are those self-imposed limitations? What am I doing, feeling, thinking, believing that's keeping me playing small? All right? So one that I've been challenging for myself recently with regard to the intentional community stuff is I don't know enough. I don't know how, I know how building an individual home goes because I've done that. I don't know how building a complex of homes goes. I don't know how working with a developer goes. Dealt with realtors, dealt with builders, but I haven't dealt with a developer. I don't know how that goes. Then thinking, okay, so hold myself. Thank you, Cindy, for posting our question for today. So holding myself back. Then my wonderful friend Pat says, I have a relative who's a developer, and looking for the opportunity to pick that person's brain in terms of, okay, tell me about development. What are the stages, steps? How do you do this thing? How do people interface with you? Yada, yada. One way to figure out something is to ask and to reach out to those who do know. Good morning, Beth. Welcome, welcome. We all don't know stuff at the beginning. The only way to find out that stuff is to seek out the knowledge. To seek out the knowledge. So yesterday, one of the things, all of a sudden it dawned on me, the house we're flipping down in Sun Prairie has hardwood floors throughout, except for the kitchen. And the hardwood floor in the living room has been damaged because, good morning, Susan, apparently the former owner took something that was hot and burning and set it on the hardwood floor. So there's several boards that have been damaged and destroyed. So I'm like, okay, we got to get those boards out of there and we got to put new boards in. And we did find new boards at a reseller place that match perfectly. And I think there's more than enough wood there to do the job. And then I'm like, well, how do you do this thing? I was in a dawn on me last night. Well, Bonnie, Google it. So I found 4 or 5 videos of people taking out broken boards, chip boards, whatever was the issue with the boards, and replacing them. So now I'm like, okay, so that's how I do it. That's how I do it. What do you want to know how to do? Google it. Google it. Watch a bunch of stuff. If you think, well, my thing is too obscure, I'll bet you a nickel it's not. I remember someone in my past wanting to do something with a vehicle, but there wasn't a way to access where the nut and bolt was. And he's like, I don't know how. So he Googled it on his phone, standing outside, and the video showed coming from underneath instead of from on top. That was all that was necessary. But it's helpful when someone has already done what you're wanting to do and they can give you some guidance. And you may watch it and go, yeah, I get it, but I think I'd rather do it this way. Then go ahead and do it. At least you have an informed opinion, right? So also, I can't say enough about making mistakes. You want to learn how to do something well? Screw it up a couple of times. That's so helpful. That's so helpful. So here is our card again for today. Dreaming layers. Dreaming layers. Being willing to look at our life in perspectives. Many different perspectives. You know, we've done that exercise before where we've taken some aspect of our life and kind of figuratively plunked it in front of us and then toured our way around it. Okay, look at it from the front. Look at it from the back. Look at it from one side and the other side and underneath, and hover above it and look down from on top. What do you learn about it from all those different perspectives? Hugely valuable. Hugely valuable. So what we're aiming for is stepping more fully into this field of infinite possibilities, rather than limiting ourselves unwittingly to there's only this or that. And our brains have been very trained, especially in America, to look at 2 options, this or that. And we don't expand into the bigness of there's this and this and this and this and this and this. All the ands. Get rid of that word or, plunk in the word and notice how the blinders start to come off. So, have an awesome Friday. I've got some fun things I'm going to do today. Well, grocery shopping, that's not my idea of a great time, but whatever. We'll go shop the perimeter and get the hell out of there. And then I'm going to be painting some folding doors for a closet. And I like the methodical nature of that, and I can see my progress, etc. And it's finally done with primer, and now it's time for regular paint, so we're making some headway here. So have an awesome Friday, all of you. We'll see you again tomorrow. Remember, you are capable of far more than you think you are, including dwelling in that field of infinite possibilities. Bye-bye.